Russia says that a peace treaty with Japan is unlikely at the moment. This comes after Japan's Prime Minister Sane Takaichi said that her newly re-elected government will try and pursue a peace deal with Moscow. Now, Russia and Japan are not in a state of war. However, the two nations have never signed a formal peace treaty after the end of the Second World War. In fact, the two countries were technically in a state of war until 1956, 11 years after the Second World War came to an end. That finally ended with the Soviet-Japanese Joint Declaration of 1956. However, a formal treaty was never signed because Moscow and Tokyo have been locked in a territorial dispute for decades and decades. The dispute concerns a chain of islands to the north of Japan. They are called the Kuril Islands before the Second World War. These islands were regularly conquered and reconquered by the Russian and the Japanese empires. But Japan was compelled to give up all claims to the Kuril Islands after the Second World War. However, Tokyo still maintains that it owns some of the islands just north of Hokkaido. Tokyo refers to these islands as the Northern Territories. Moscow has consistently rejected Tokyo's claims on the islands. However, Russia has made several attempts to work out a deal. The Russian President Vladimir Putin had even offered to give some of the smaller islands to Japan back in 2018, but Tokyo had always refused to renounce its claims on all four territories. And this deadlock is now one of the major reasons why Russia and Japan have not managed to sign a formal peace treaty, despite World War II having ended more than 80 years ago. But now, Prime Minister Sane Takaichi says that she wants to try working out a peace treaty once again. However, Moscow is not keen at the moment. The Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov was asked about Takaichi's statement, and he said that Moscow's relationship with Tokyo is now down to zero because of Japan's support for Ukraine during the ongoing war. So until Tokyo repairs its relationship with Moscow, the peace deal is not going to happen.